This conference will now be recorded.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. For our weekly courthouse supervisor meeting at the courthouse. It's available by GoToMeeting also and recorded for future viewing. We have an agenda in front of us. Have a motion to approve agenda. So motions are second. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Motion passes. Approve the minutes of December 10th meeting. Just look them over. Any corrections? If not, motion to approve the December 10th meeting. So moved. Motion, is there a second? Second. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Jim.
Aye.
Cindy. Aye. Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
John.
Aye. Motion passed. Discussion and possible action on fiscal year 26 Healthy Harvest funding request. Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I have the paperwork handout to you all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So I've included our letter of updates and annual requests, our annual update summary for our region, and our local food guide, which we I've talked to you about in the past. Should I sit here?
You bet, sir.
Okay. And Jackie Armstrong is here also. She's on our board, so she may have a few things to add. So, yeah, I'm Andrea Ebelsizer, and I'm the Executive Director for Healthy Harvest of North Iowa. And yeah, I was here last year, so you might recall. We work in 9 counties in north central Iowa to connect and educate to support the local food system. So we do a lot of things related to farmers markets, farm to school, producer education, resources and connections for producers with the region, but also statewide and sometimes even nationally with different grants that have come up that have come to the state that we've been able to help connect to the local area. So we were at 3 of your farmers markets this year working to connect producers and consumers. We do a lot of education around taste testing local foods, making simple recipes that people can purchase ingredients right at the farmers markets and then take those recipes and ingredients home and make it home. So we provide taste test samples and recipe cards and those types of things. We're also, you guys have a lot going on in terms of local food in your community. It's really actually exciting. Your farmers markets are pretty vibrant for small communities, and the producers are engaged and connected with each other. This year we did the first ever farmers market out of school. So Riceville School hosted a farmers market where the students were able to earn tokens to be able to shop at the market. And there was, I believe it was 7 producers, your Riceville FFA chapter, the Iowa Food Hub, and a few others that came to that event. We were there to support the event. The media was there. They did a little bit of a video of the event, but it was really fun for the students to be able to go talk to the farmers, buy little bags of different produce items, baked goods, apple products. There was a lot of meat. There was a lot of things there that day. It was really exciting. So that was kind of a new model that that Riceville kind of started, and we're going to be using their experiences to make kind of a toolkit for other schools to be able to kind of replicate that. I think it was a really good learning experience for the students to really connect with those local food farmers. We also did a networking event at Otter Creek Orchard where we invited farmers, and actually the Riceville School Food Director was also there, and they were talking about a lot of things about sourcing local food and being able to get that more readily into the schools. We also do a lot of education around local food day. Iowa's been having a local food day for the state for a number of years, and we've been doing education with different schools with around that and getting into classroom settings as well as, food service sometimes and sometimes in the classroom. And more times the students hear about healthy options and choosing local. And as I know all of you know, like the local impact of buying local and supporting the economy and the people in your community is very important. So we, like I said, we have our annual impact report that kind of covers our entire region. The local food guide, which lists multiple producers in your community, as well as the farmers markets. And we really appreciate the funding that you guys have given to this cause over many years to support all of this work. And I think you can see from all the things that's going on that it really does pay off to have somebody coming and kind of engaging in all of those activities with the people in your community. So Jackie, if you want to add?
Thanks for that introduction, Andrea. You've really got your fingertips on all the details of what Healthy Harvest of North Iowa does for our community. I want to add some comments about the economy. The economy is so important. You guys are struggling with a limited budget, and anything that can be done to encourage the local businesses to thrive is really critically important. And so these local producers send their kids to our schools, they shop locally, and they provide really nutritious food. America's food largely comes from this mass industrial complex. It's ultra processed, it's not healthy. Studies have shown that local food, sustainably raised, is far more nutritious. So your constituents are going to be better off economically and nutritionally if we support the local food production in Mitchell County. So Healthy Harvest is really key to that. I encourage you to consider funding us. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them for you.
I know last year we were having trouble with you guys getting into St. Ansgar. Has that changed now that they have a new director?
We have connected with the director, and we are, our farm to school coordinator, Marie Morud, is working to set up some stuff with them. So far that we haven't, I don't think we've been there yet, but it is, the communications have been opened up and we are gonna kind of pursue that. Yeah, continue to pursue that, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you have a number of board of supervisors that support you. Is it always 30 per capita across the board for?
It's a sort of a balance between what we have going on in that community. So you guys have a lot going on, and so obviously we're coming to 3 farmers markets and all of those things. So we kind of adjust. And it changes kind of over the time, depending on what producers you have and as things progress. So yeah. So yeah, I think it goes between 10 to 30%,
30.
depending on, yeah.
Cents?
Cents, not percent, yeah.
Okay, sounds like you're doing good.
Yeah.
We get state grants also, correct?
Yeah, we are like probably 90%, 85 or 90% grant funded. So we have state grants, we have foundation grants, we have quite a bit federal funding through the USDA, different programs. So yeah, it's kind of a variety, but mostly grant funded or like funding through different foundations.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
All right.
Well, very good.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and thanks for your
It's
passion.
something we'll consider as we do our budget, so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I just add one small point about funding sources? It's true we have alternative grant funding sources, but like a great dam, if you pull out that 10% plug, it really begins to erode the effectiveness of the program. So your funding is so important and so critical to what we do.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think I even mentioned in the letter, like the local funding is important to have for match. It just shows local support, because with the federal funding, if you don't have the local support, they aren't, it's not as effective, so.
The reason I was asked that question is I want to make sure Mitchell County isn't always the sole food source funder.
Mhm.
I want to know who else has got who else is helping out with all these programs. So.
Yeah, and we work in 9 counties when we do visit with every board of supervisors in all the counties, so. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Home health, public health update.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we had a Board of Health meeting last Friday. So we're just coming to give a little update. I did email you guys the Board of Health report, so hopefully all of you guys got that. I'll kind of go over some of the stuff in that report. So our expenses and revenues, in that report, that worksheet should be in there to show how we're sitting. So we're actually just under on the expenses and over on the revenues, so that's exactly what we want, so that's great. I will be submitting an amendment when I submit my FY26 budget, mainly because that dairy farm worker grant that we're receiving, I'm just kind of adding some to the expenses and the revenues to include that in there, because we're gonna have to buy stuff to use that grant fund, and then the revenue's coming in. So majority of the amendment is due to that, so it's just going to be on both sides of it, so. I did receive our Medicare cost report, and in the cost report, it did come out that our expenses, our costs are higher than our charges at this point. We haven't, as you can see in our board report, we haven't been over our charges in years, and we haven't raised our rates in years. So our next meeting, we will be discussing that. We haven't raised our nursing rates since 2020, and we haven't changed our therapy and aid rates since 2017. So it's due time. So just a heads up, we will be increasing that probably next, where we would start in July. So we're going to discuss that next month. So just to make sure that our costs are being covered at least.
Are you comparable with other?
I would have to do some research to see. The thing is with some payers, they're going to pay us what they pay us. This will really only affect our private pay people, but we do have the sliding fee scale, which we probably need to adjust to go up to poverty level as well too. So we'll be adjusting all of that. Because with that sliding fee scale, our low income people don't have to pay the full fee, so we can help them out. So yeah. But we're right in there as far as what our other payers are, the max payment, that's kind of where we're sitting, so. Staffing updates, we are currently still hiring for a couple nurses. We did lose one last month, so I do have a couple potential ones. Hopefully, I got some job shadows and hopefully one that's going to be starting at the end of the month. So there is potential candidates out there. We did increase one of our aides from PRN to part-time 10. So I would still like to get another PRN aide in just to help out, but that's kind of where we're sitting on staffing. So I submitted the claim for after you guys approved the window application for ARPA, I submitted that claim to Rachel to pay for half of the windows. And so they got the windows ordered, and hopefully they will get that started. As soon as it comes in, they thought it would be January sometime, so. And then we will pay the other 50% of the claim once it's completed. And then you guys also approved for the ARPA funds to help pay for our nursing equipment. So we did get the Shop on State grant, and then the remainder was paid for by the ARPA funds. So that did come in and distributed to our staff. So thank you for approving both of those ARPA funds. We appreciate that. We attended the career and college fair at the Osage School. It was a nice event that all the Riceville, St. Ansgar, and Osage middle school and high school came, and we were set up there to talk to all the students as they came by. It was a great event to be able to talk to everybody. A lot of people there. We also had our open house since we came last time. It was a great event. Celebrating our 55 years. It was a great turnout. We had boards up with all of our services on it, refreshments for everybody. We did a drawing for a free blood pressure cuff for winning. We gave tours of our office. It was a great turnout. We have started a couple times a month helping deliver Meals on Wheels. It sounds like they lost a few drivers, so We are doing that just a couple times a month just to help out. We kind of handed out goodie bags to all of them, giving information about our services and things like that. It's a great, something we kind of enjoy too, to get out there and see the people. Jessica may be talking about this, I'm not sure, but you are talking about the website. Okay, I will let her talk about that. Our next Board of Health meeting is scheduled for February 14th, so I'm not sure who, once you guys appoint, if you could just pass that on to whoever is going to be doing, but it's February 14th at 12 o'clock in our office, or in the conference room. Did you guys have any questions about any of the stuff in the Board of Health report, or anything about the expenses and revenues?
This hips training, what's that?
The what?
Hips?
Oh, yep, yes.
I'm not delivering of Meals on Wheels, could that potentially be more and more,
That they need more?
well, that you would happen to be delivering more? And is it something that possibly you might have bit off too much if it becomes that?
Well, so I go in there and sign up, and I only do it when we're able to. Usually it's us office staff do it. And it takes about a half hour, if that. I don't even think it took that. The last route was really short. We got changed to a different route. But if it's too much, I definitely won't sign up. We just kind of see where their openings are, and if we're able to, I'll sign up, but if we're not able to, then I won't, so.
Thank you.
So we're not set up for a every Friday type of deal. We just go in and set up when we can, or sign up when we can. Yeah.
So are there multiple vehicles that are multiple routes, or are you doing all of them? Or?
No, there is multiple routes. We're just doing one route.
I was just curious, I mean, how the total number that
Yeah.
delivered, I didn't know.
So they put us on a bigger route the first time that they swapped us, and there was only 4 on the route I did a couple weeks ago, and Jess said there was 5. Yeah, so there's not very many, and they're all within a very close, so.
It's a good, potential clientele as well too. It's good to get our names and faces out there. People ask questions, when we're in the homes too, and,
Certainly.
just that stuff too. So it's really good publicity for us.
Yeah, it is.
Possibly see a need that is out there that
Oh, for
the
sure.
individual doesn't
Yeah.
know that they have that need.
And that's why I make sure we gave our information out, and that way they can call us if any,
All right. So public health side of things, we are just wrapping up flu COVID. I think this week is our last walk-in flu COVID clinic that we'll be having. I will be offering more throughout January through June, just to help with some grant funds. But it'll be open to all vaccinations, not just respiratory vaccinations as well. So I did report last time on the dairy farm worker grant. So in addition to this, we got a map of who all applied for this grant. Unfortunately, Howard County did not take advantage of it. And so I did apply for Howard County's grant funds, so we could take over and do Howard County as well in this grant. So we got awarded additional money, so a total of $65,000 that we got awarded for this dairy farm worker grant. And basically we will do the same thing for Howard County as what we do for Mitchell County for those services. So some things that we are doing or are planning on doing, we hold additional vaccine clinics. I do travel into the Howard County side or any dairy farm worker location, and we'll provide vaccines on site at their location. We are utilizing funds for the advertising, new vaccine fridges. We're part of VFA, VFC, private pay vaccines. So our vaccine storage is getting pretty small. So I did purchase just recently a new vaccine fridge to house all that as well too. It'll help with postage for all the letters that we send out, printer expenses, translation services for those individuals who do not speak English, and immunization supplies. Another big thing that we are doing is we are doing a website. So we do have the website through wherever Ryan is. We have lots of additions that we like to make changes to. We did have Ryan come in and give us some training of how to do this, but there's so much coding in there that we'd probably screw something up. So we have reached out to Ryan, and we are actually meeting with a new website vendor it'll still be attached. They'll be able to click on it through the county website, and we'll go to a different one. I can't remember the name of what it is, but we do have a meeting with her this Thursday.
It's very similar to, or it's the same company that other counties have used, which we've looked at them, some samples, and it's just a very user-friendly website.
And we'll be able to do updates on our end. Our things are changing weekly. So it's easy for us to be able to log in and make those changes. Where the website that the county currently has is not friendly at all. So part of this grant will be going to that new website for public health, home health to switch over to. So.
And we do get a lot of, we've noticed a lot of people mention, oh, I looked at your website, and it's, it's just not, it doesn't, this way, yeah, it's not up to date, and this could be just much better.
The new site, are they specific to kind of your department, or are they a
They do
website?
a website altogether. Ryan had mentioned I talked to some of you guys about it, but nothing has processed or nothing has changed or nothing is planning to change. And so we just decided to go out on our own and do this just so we can make the updates at our office and we have these funds to be able to help us support that as well too.
You contracted with them for a year, or how's that work?
Well, we'll find out more on Thursday when we meet with them, but yeah, the grant money will help this startup fund. We can't guarantee we're gonna have money to be able to do this any other time, so that's why we thought we'd jump on it.
Okay.
So a few things on the public health side of things. So reportable cases, epidemiology update. So we're seeing a lot of highly pathogenic avian influenza as close as Worth County. So they have a turkey flock that just, Governor Reynolds just issued a proclamation for Worth County for that. So it's around, we're gonna see a lot more of it. It's here in Iowa. Several counties are being affected by that. So if we do have any turkey flocks, chicken flocks, whatever that test positive, we will be highly involved with that as well too. And then also we are seeing a substantial pertussis outbreaks throughout Iowa and Minnesota, all over the United States. So we did have a pertussis outbreak in the Mennonite community a year ago. So I'm well aware of what to do and how that works, but just in communication with the providers here in Mitchell County and giving them updates and making sure they're aware of what's going on. So that is what's going on with respiratory reportable cases here. Some things that I'm looking for the future. Mark, you asked about the HIPS training. So hidden in plain sight is on the HIPS. So part of the tobacco, our MCSAC, Mitchell County Substance Abuse. We are going to the St. Ansgar School
January 21st.
January 21st, and we will be doing a hidden in plain sight room, basically. So what it is it's for adults only. We are partnering with, I think, a couple of teachers from the St. Ansgar and Osage. They play Osage and St. Ansgar that day. So we are hoping to partner with some teachers from both schools to be able to give students extra credit points if their families attend. So it's for adults only, no children attend this, and it's kind of a mock room, and individuals, parents can go walk through and find things that, or realize things that maybe their kids are hiding. It's so easy to hide different things nowadays. And so we'll have a mock room and have parents be able to sit down and see what they think, and it'll be interesting to them to realize how easy it is to put things places that they are not aware of too. So that will be happening January 21st, and we will be doing it in St. Ansgar. So yeah. Some other things that we're looking at, or I'm gearing up for next year, kind of in the planning stages. We are going to start urine drug screenings for our agency. I have had several Mitchell County businesses reach out for drug screenings, so we will be providing that for some businesses that have reached out, and then also for our staff at the agency as well too. Sports physical immunizations, working with the schools, athletic directors in regards to providing those in the summertime. So one-stop shop to get the sports physical immunizations that they need for school as well too. So planning behind that. Bicycle safety, we are going to hold a bicycle rodeo, partnering with Osage PD, hopefully St. Ansgar PD once we take it to St. Ansgar. And then we're hoping to do it in Wrightsville as well too, but just have a little rodeo, have kids come in. We have, I got some free bicycle helmets from the state that we will be getting and able to hand out those free bicycle helmets to those kids that come in and need bicycle helmets. We'll have the sheriff, or the PD there to sign up bikes, to register them, as they do register bikes here in Osage. Just making sure helmets fit correctly, bikes are tuned up. And then hopefully with that as well too, just had a meeting with the hospital the other day, and hopefully they'll partner up and do a car seat safety as well that same day. So kind of just a safety clinic. That won't be happening till May, as that's bicycle month, but the planning has started on that already. So the public health alignment, we did have a meeting at the beginning of December. They gave us an update and said that it would be a lot like the behavioral health service alignment, except for we would not have an ASO. It would be state, district, and then the local public health. So the behavioral health put out a draft, and the public health is planning on putting out a draft that looks similar to this in January for us to see. That'll have what the district or the state level, the district level, and then us as local public health of what our expectations are with it. So we'll see that in January. However, it will not go into voting until 2026 still. That still has not changed, but just kind of an idea so us local individuals know what to expect come the alignment and where everything is as well too. Behavioral health did come out with their ASO. They did pick one ASO for the whole state, which is the Iowa Primary Care Association. So we'll see, there is a webinar this week on that, and just kind of what the Iowa Primary Care Association looks like and their expectations of that. So that is the ASO for the behavioral health. It's been a huge thing coming, so we'll see where all that plans for Mitchell County as well too, see what happens. So otherwise, that's all that I have. You guys can defer to my report for everything else. Do you guys have any questions?
I have one on that, dairy vaccines. I guess where I'm gonna go with this is, I know that the local fairs and then the state fairs, your dairy had to be tested so many days before you could even compete and stuff. Would this vaccine have any improvement on that?
So it's not really for animals, it's for individuals caring for the animals. So they're encouraging the flu vaccine for those individuals that care for those animals, just so that they won't get it. But yes, it will protect them from that.
Yeah, so I guess that's where you guys couldn't answer this, but I'm wondering if we have it for the caretaker of the animal, is there a vaccine for the animal itself out there yet, or you
Not that
have?
I'm aware of.
Okay.
I have no idea. You'll have to ask the vets on that. So,
Okay,
not that I'm aware of.
okay. Because I know it's nip and tuck in the local county fairs, if they can even compete or not.
And I know it'll probably be the same way this year, just with that transfer to the dairy herd, just this year. So I have a feeling it'll be the same way for county fairs next year. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
you. County attorney general discussion.
I don't have anything specific for you today. I got a couple of every year smaller things to kind of take care of. Should be a good time to do it the next couple of weeks, just because everything kind of slows down a little bit. Other than that, I guess I don't really have anything.
Thank you. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sheriff.
Morning.
Good morning.
So I have November fees for you this morning in the amount of $7,077.65.
Got a motion to approve the sheriff report?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney. Aye. Jim.
Aye.
I guess the only other thing I want to make you aware of is in March, that's probably the timeline that the existing canine is gonna be retired out. And that we'll move to replace that canine with new. So we're gonna try and do that through donations. We've already got pledged to us around 10,000, and it takes 15-ish to replace the canine and outfit the vehicle. So, had good support through years we've had all our canines, and some of the people that really enjoy our canine and know the purpose for it have already pledged to fund the next one. So I'll keep you up to speed on that, how that's going, what it looks like. Hopefully we get, pledges that will cover the total cost, but if not, I think my budget will be able to stand a few thousand to offset the shortfall. Okay. But right now we're at around 10,000 on a $15,000 project.
You doing like word of mouth, or how are you getting the word out?
So, yes, we've sent letters to some of the folks that have been generous to us in the past. After the first of the year, we'll probably do a Facebook post. However, there are probably other organizations that need the donations more than we do. So it's kind of right?
Yeah.
So, we'll just see how that plays out. If we need to do essentially a public service announcement or a Facebook post, we will. If we don't need to, if we've reached our goal in the next few weeks, we probably won't. And so, yeah.
Very good.
So,
All righty.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Department head discussion.
We've got Rachel, can you put on the agenda, we've got a thing in our mail slot for foster grandparents, passed around. Can you put on the agenda for the 2nd of January as far as consideration for that?
Yeah.
I hope that meeting isn't monstrously big, but I guess if it happens, we can always postpone for another time, but for now, maybe the 2nd.
Morning, everybody. Conservation Board had our meeting last week. We discussed the dam project wrapped up. We finished that up the week before, so everything is done on that. So now we just need rain and waterfall to go ahead and refill the reservoir. Probably gonna be spring before we get back to normal levels. But everything's kind of patched up on that, so we'll finish out those reports and get them from there. Board did do equipment sale openings. We sold the old, solar panels, fluid solar panels, so those we sold. We didn't get any bids on the truck, which we were doing local only, so now we'll put those out on gov.deals and go nationwide to get those sold. We talked about a display donation opportunity that was presented to us, and the board did go ahead and accept that donation, so we will be putting that in sometime in February. The uniqueness of that is there's an individual up by St. Ansgar who did a lot of hunting throughout the world and stuff, and passed away, unfortunately. Jeff Hansen is his name, and his wife is willing to donate some of the mounts that they've got to the Conservation Board. So it'd be something different, that not Northern American type of creatures, all throughout the world type thing. So we're excited to have that as an opportunity to display at our nature center. So we'll give them in sometime probably around February. We created a purchase procedure policy for when dealing with federal money. We needed to get this done because of FEMA, so we created it. We kind of copied what emergency management had in place with their federal money grants that they get. We needed to kind of have one similar with what FEMA was saying, so we kind of copied that policy this is only for dealing with federal money. Then we discussed doing RFP reports for the park plans as part of the money you guys have given us to do engineering on 3 of the campgrounds. So we are looking at getting those done. And then February, I think it's our February board meeting is when we're going to have the RFPs in to prep for proposals. Then we also we're going out and getting quotes for the nature center on the inside to do we got sheetrock that's been damaged from water damage from the roof. So we got the exterior of the roof fixed over the summer. So now we'll do the interior side and get that done. We also had on their land acquisition, possibly closed session, that we did not go into closed session or discuss it. as we did make an offer on a piece of land, but we were waiting back from the landowners to see if they are interested in that aspect of it. Otherwise, we're right now just wrapping everything up at the end of the year. We've got several grants that we've got done that we're trying to wrap up, and several reports that we're trying to get wrapped up as well too. So that's going on at the board meeting. So, questions?
Is the reservoir coming up at all, or is it just kind of maintaining?
It's kind of maintained where it was. It came up slightly. It probably came up about 3 inches when we closed the gates. We closed the one gate fully and then we closed the other gate to a certain amount. We have to leave X amount of water going downstream, by our license. So where the gate's at, it will stay for the winter until we get water coming over the spillway now type thing. So we came up, like I said, maybe 3-4 inches type thing, but we haven't had enough waterfall and everything's kind of frozen. So this is gonna be a springtime type thing. We're just gonna have to wait for spring runoff to happen. So what we wanna see is a lot of snow this winter. So that's what we need to see and go from there. Whether that or a nice good spring run rain, but I don't want it all at one time. So we just need rainfall and we'll have snowfall. That's what we gotta take.
A lot of snow might be a matter of opinion for different.
That's right. It depends on who you ask. Snowmobilers, coyote hunters will love the snow. Other people are gonna have a whole different thought process on it. So if not, everybody have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department head discussions? No. County engineer update.
Morning.
Morning.
Not a lot this morning. I do have on the agenda, we have that approved certification of completion. We don't need to do that for those projects, so we don't need to worry about that on the agenda. I do have the funding agreement, final plans for that HDP project, which is the one south of McIntyre. That's the final plans are getting put in today. We had I got the raise federal grant agreement. They had to change some names on it, so I got it here about a week ago. So I'm gonna need approval for that, and that's just the funding agreement for us to use the federal money. The preliminary cost estimate for the project was $1.8 million. We estimated 360,000 of that would come from farm to market, and the actual grant money would be 1.4 million, about a 20-80 split. So far, the engineer's estimate for the project is 1.35, so a little bit under the original estimate, but we don't know what bids are gonna come in at come March. So if I could get an approval for this, I can get this submitted so the project can continue on with letting.
Is that the
HDP, yes, yep.
CO 66?
Yes.
You have a motion to approve that?
Move to approve funding agreement approved for HDP CO66 88 6B 66 bridge project.
You have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Mark.
Aye. Alright, motion passes. Any other?
Just a couple things we're looking into. Years ago, we were allowed to run blue lights on our plow trucks only during the snow season, and we're looking at maybe outfitting our Mack trucks. They seem to be the easiest ones to switch over just by replacing a light bulb on the passenger side and rear. The blue seems to show through the snow better than our amber ones. And I know the state runs white and blue, but we're gonna try blue. I think we've got one Sterling truck with a different blue light that seems to show up better, but the high intensity ones that we're looking at will maybe show off the trucks a little bit better in the winter time in the dark. So we're looking at that, probably gonna be, I think they're about $170 a bulb, but it's basically 4 screws in a plug to unplug it in the fall, we'll take the one out, we'll put the other one back in the spring. So it's not a really difficult switch over. I wish there was a better way to do it, but right now there's just no way. But we're looking into doing something like that just to kind of enhance our visibility out there. So other than that, we're getting some culverts delivered today, and we'll see if we can get our projects going or not.
They deliver them on site out there.
Yeah, we're just gonna have them laying out there so that when the time comes, we can get moving on them. So, all right, that's all I got for you.
Is I not paying attention, or are we supposed to approve the certificate of?
No, we don't need to do that. No, I kind of said that right away. Yep. No, that was for a lot of times. The DOT's got a system in they've got an APIA system, the Doc Express system. The Doc Express system is an electronic file cabinet of all of our projects. And depending on whether it's farm to market or federal aid, there's certain approvals that need to go through and some that don't. You guys every year allow me to do the final acceptance on farm to market, and Bill and I were going through that and just kind of overlooked it. So we don't need to have that approved by you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Trying to write and listen. And say-
Yeah. Thank you.
Discussion of possible action on fiscal year RSVP funding request.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so my name, for those of you who don't know me, is Allison Mason. I serve as the director of RSVP. That stands for Retired and Senior Volunteer Project. We serve 6 counties in north central Iowa. We're a branch of AmeriCorps Seniors, and the purpose of our program is to kind of support education through providing volunteers who are 55 or older to our school districts. Last year, in our 6 counties, we served 1,013 students in 100 classrooms. In Mitchell County, that breaks down to 3 districts, 11 classrooms, and 75 students. And we have 30 volunteers who came together to meet that need. It's important to be transparent. In the last year, we did have a big barrier at Osage Lincoln that we're navigating right now at the very end of the summer. So we set up with administrators and teachers in May to say, are you on for next year? Is everything good? We have MOUs with each district. At the very end of the summer, we lost the pen pal teacher who had always worked with us and 2 reading buddy classrooms there. So we continue to speak with Greg Adams for a plan for next year. We are still in 2 classrooms at Osage Middle School. We increased our classrooms at Riceville to 6, and we have 2 classrooms at St. Ansgar. So we're still at that, like, we're at 10 this year. We were at 11 last year. I anticipate we'll be back at Osage Lincoln full force next year again. But as I've spoken with boards of supervisors, the question is what continues to be the barrier, and I would say scheduling and the pressure on like hours in the day in our schools. It's difficult to ask brand new teachers to take something else on. They've got big loads every single day, and so that's our biggest task, is just to kind of lean on our veteran teachers to promote our program. That's how it worked in Riceville to get some more added on. Same in St. Ansgar, we had 1 teacher leave, 1 new come on, and that veteran teacher kind of assured them and said, this is good, they make it as easy as they can, they really do help our kids. So we just will continue to dig in and make sure that those relationships continue to grow so that we're back at full force. Last year, 86% of the students who participated in our program improved their reading scores. We get that data through surveying teachers. They send the students fall and spring reading data to us so that we know kind of where we're making an impact. And then we also send out a student survey that they fill out themselves, and 92% of students surveyed shared that they felt an improved attitude around reading. And that's something we're proud of, because if they hate it, they're not going to work as hard at it. So we're glad that we've made a positive impact in that way. Outside of educational programs, Mitchell County volunteers have been involved in the Nyack Food Pantry, Hawkeye Harvest Food Bank, and also Elderbridge Agency on Aging, in addition to a BASES senior fitness class that focuses on balance, agility, strength, endurance, and socialization. To continue our efforts, we respectfully request $5,000 from Mitchell County for fiscal year '26. Local match funding like this remains a requirement to secure our federal and state funding and enable us to continue to serve volunteers and students in our communities. So, do you have any questions about the information I provided or?
I think you do well so as far as what your program is. Unfortunately, I always need to talk about money.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Mhm.
So you get state and federal money, and is there a certain dollar amount that you need to match?
It's a 30% match.
30%.
Yep. And similar to what the gal shared earlier, we base our ask on the amount of involvement that we have in a county, the number of volunteers that we have to support. So the number that we propose to each county depends on the number of volunteers that we have serving, the number of school districts, et cetera. So Cerro Gordo's is far larger than Mitchell's, for example.
I see you asked, I think you asked the same last year from us.
Yes.
She did. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Have a good holiday.
You as well.
Consider a compensation board salary recommendations for fiscal year 25-26. Any questions on the increases that they suggested?
You wanna go over what they were as far as the percents?
Following recommendations are being made by upcoming fiscal year 25-26. Recorder, treasurer, auditor, 3.3% raise for $2,452.50. Brings it up to $76,770.57. The auditor is gonna get an additional $1,000 stipend. The county sheriff, 6% raise for $7,062.07 for a salary of $124,763.22. County attorney, 6% raise, $5,625.38 raise for $99,381.77. Supervisors, 3.3% raise of $1,283.26 for a salary of $40,169.82. And the supervisor chairperson gets $125 per month extra. So,
Thank you.
what's that?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So it looks like a 3.3% raise and a 6% raise.
So the compensation board, I'll just do this for the people that are listening online or whatever. The compensation board looked at the current consumer price index, which is 3.3. And that's where the majority of the elected officials came in at 3.3. They felt that the sheriff and the county attorney merited a larger increase, and so that's where that 6% came from.
They were trying to match other counties. They felt like Mitchell County was on the lower end of all of that, so they bumped it up to try to match everybody else. Right?
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
So a motion to approve the compensation board salary recommendations.
Is this where we do the resolution? Where the resolution is?
Yes.
Yes. So, resolution number
1253-24.
So is this, if this is just, we'd be voting on the recommendation, if there is no, if our budget is short, we don't have to come, we won't come back to this saying we approved it, correct?
Once you approve it, it's approved. Short or not.
I've been thinking of that also, Todd, and so a couple different ways to think about that, at least in my head, is that, we can approve the resolution, and at a later date, if, I'm expecting to have some problems with the budget this year, I'll just say that, because of what the state did to us. So if we end up having problems with our budget, there's two things that we could do. This is just a resolution, we could change this. And we could change, if whatever we're gonna decide for the hourly rate on the next agenda item, we could change all of that. Or the other thing is that if we need to amend, department budgets from what they proposed to us, and I don't wanna have to do that. But if we have to do that, we just amend the budget of those departments, and then they're gonna have to figure out how they build their department, whether it's their wages, whether, I mean, those are two different ways that we could address this in the future if we had to.
So the bottom line is what they would have, if we had to take something away, it would be from the bottom line, and then they would have to figure out how they make it happen.
They'd have to figure it out.
Well, that's the way other counties do it. They never set wages, they just approve budgets for, and then each department sets their wages. They figure it out, their total number, what they wanna do, how they're gonna do it. This is one of the few counties that does the wages for employees. I mean, there's a few you have to, but most.
Or by
For the
code,
meetings I've been to.
by code, we have to do this as far as elected officials, the compensation.
Correct.
By code, we have to address that.
Yes, yeah, wait, that part, yeah, but not the other part. And last year, you borrowed TIF money to make the libraries go, and the economic developments, I don't know how it's gonna, what's gonna float this year, you know? But I guess it's not gonna be my problem, so.
I move to approve resolution 1253-24.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Mike,
I,
Jim,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Cindy.
Motion passes. Consider wage increase for hourly employee for fiscal year 25-26.
I don't know if the board wants to do it again this year. We've always done it in the last, this will be the fourth year. When we average existing wages, hourly rate, wages out, then average the compensation board recommendations, plug that into that average, and that's what we've done in the past. This year, that comes to $1.16.
what percentage did you use?
Average of the comp board was 4.2 when you average everything up, all of them.
Was it 92 cents last year?
92 cents last year.
Year before was like $1.35, wasn't it?
No, it came out at $1.62, and there was, this is what I have, there was, interest from elected officials that, and justifiable, that it should be increased. I have $1.78.
Yeah, it was.
Formerly it was 162, but we went 178.
What did you come up with?
For this year?
Yeah.
116.
If and when you make a motion, can you include the safety coordinators I think you guys have done 1%.
Yeah.
An additional $1 or $2 in there.
Yeah. So what we've done is we just did I think we just did, pretty sure we just did the average of what we did everybody else, but just that percent for that safety coordinator.
If we just list it, I think we went back and had to do it then. If we did. Yeah.
I would move to make the motion of $1.16 wage increase for hourly employees. And then, how do I word that? The safety.
Just the percent for the safety coordinator.
If you're going to use the same percent, it's 4.2% for the safety coordinator.
4.2% for the safety coordinator.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Sydney?
No.
Mark?
No.
Todd?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Mike?
No.
Motion fails. We'll either use some other numbers or do it another time.
Either way.
Is there a motion for another numbers?
What's the board think on?
Still calculating.
Yeah, or wait a little bit, yeah.
There's not another motion, we'll move on.
I think instead of setting a rate, I think you should just look at each department's budget, set their budget, and let them decide what they want to do with the wages. They know their employees and conservation, public health, they go over and above anyway with when they want to, so that's, let them make the decision. That's how other counties do it. They don't set wages for people, they just set budgets for, they say what they want for the budget, you say what you can afford to give them, they figure out what they're gonna do. That's how other counties do it, from what I've gathered from meetings I go to. I don't know anybody else that does it this way, that I've heard. Maybe there is, but then you don't have to make this decision. It's on the departments, heads. Because like I say, they don't follow it anyway, which they don't have to. I mean, they have their own board, so. That's my recommendation.
So is there a motion for a number or not? We'll move on to,
Any comments from department heads?
We always follow the cost of living raises. We give the recommendation that you guys give. So we're not just doing whatever we want. We do the cost of living raise that you guys recommend.
But you get raises in between too.
We do have annual raises, yep.
Yep.
And we've had that for long before my time.
Do other counties have an evaluation and pay percentage?
Well, there's some people that are at the top of their pay scale, yeah, and then they don't get it, get a
So,
raise. I mean, if they've been there a long time, there's pay scale tops too for people. I mean, that's almost anywhere you work.
We do have one thing we need to consider, so that
You have a few hourly employees you have to consider.
we have to consider for the department heads, because they need to build their budgets. We don't have a meeting next week, and our budget process starts first, I think the second week in January. They're gonna need some sort of guidance as far as how to build their budgets, and their wages are part of that budget process. So if we're not gonna use $1.16, that's totally fine, it is. But if we're going to kind of go the direction that you're talking, Mike, which is fine also, they need to have an idea as far as, do they go in with 3.3% CPI that was put out for at the compensation board time, or do they shoot for the average in 4.2 of all elected officials, or, I mean, they need to build their budget somehow.
I can tell you that in the past, I've always looked at what's been awarded by the elected officials. But we also do have our affiliations that show average wages, Sue, that we can kind of look at also. I don't think it's gonna be too difficult. I think I would have 3 people that I've got to come up with wages for, that it's not gonna be difficult to kind of keep everything comparable without making everybody's eyes go, wow, you know. In the past, I know like in Worth County, I use the recommendations that the comp board's given the elected officials and look at it from that angle. And say if the elected officials are worth X, then so are my employees. That's what I've done.
So you can use those numbers to get your budget pretty close.
Yeah.
So they can go that way.
Yeah.
What does Worth County do? They don't.
I usually,
You make
in
the-
Worth County, I set the hourly wages.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what,
I mean, we do have a union in my department, so that comes up, but there's only 3 other people that don't fall into that union category.
right, and then you determine that, and
Right.
put that in your budget, and your budget gets approved or disapproved, and you decide what you wanna do.
There you go.
What's like the COLA for social security is 2.5%, I mean, I don't know, which is probably kind of low, I think, but I think that's what the government said, didn't they?
Jim, what was your average salary that you had worked off of?
All the elected
The
officials,
average hourly,
4.2.
what was the average hourly rate?
1.6.
No, the hourly, you know, like, was it $20 an hour, $25 an hour, was the average?
Oh, 20s, of everybody.
Because you average that salary, right? You took-
I averaged everybody.
Right.
Elected officials and everybody. I
Okay.
converted them into hourly, so
Okay.
everybody. And it come to 2770 was the average for everybody.
That gives me something to look with too.
I don't want to take money off the table. The one with $1.16 is higher than what I was thinking, Jim. 3.3% for my hourly is about 86 cents.
And you probably got the most employees of all hourly rates.
I do.
So you'd be able to determine your budget based on your,
Well, I will if that's what you want me to do.
I mean, that's the norm, from what I know, but.
I just want to give them some guidance as far as, because like I said, they need to start putting these budgets together. And, this was just an idea as far as what we can do. I totally don't care if we don't use this, that doesn't matter, but they need to have some idea of how they're gonna do this.
My preference is that you give us a percentage and let us work off of that, rather than I just lay out my budget and give them X amount of dollars to it.
So instead of just giving $1, let's give a percentage.
That works. I mean,
So if you just say,
Either way, and for me to say I have $2.4 million budget and all my hourly people are gonna get a $1.50 raise, and we may not like that $1.50 raise, but that's what I've come up with. If you give us some guidance, you have a say in it.
3.3 is a good guidance, ain't it? I don't know.
I think that's fair with our deputies, like they get a percentage of ours, so me or treasurer, and for 3.3%, but then an hourly employee would potentially get higher. I mean, depending on what, you know what I mean? Like if it's a percent, that's at least fair across the board.
I'll typically use, in Worth County, I'll use the auditor treasury quarter percentages for my hourly employees.
So 3.3% raise for employees.
Seems fair, reasonable, I don't.
Everybody okay with that?
CPI is 3.3.
I say let us just come up with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I said. Or you don't like that either.
I'll do whatever the board wants me to do, but everything's working
If
at
we-
this point for 20 years, I don't know any change now.
Could we just say recommended 3.3, but departments could?
If you do the percent though, the only thing is you do the percent, somebody that's making $20 an hour is going to, it's always been my contention that consumer price index reflects, these are not raises, these are increases based on how things have went up over the past year. And I use this example all the time. If I go buy a gallon of milk, it's gonna cost the same for somebody that makes less than me or somebody that makes twice as much as me. The gallon of milk went up for everybody. So these are not raises, these are cost of living increases. So if we do a straight percent across the board for everybody, some people are gonna end up getting a bigger increase than other people in regards to somebody's making $20 an hour compared to somebody who's making $27 an hour.
I agree with that, but everybody's got a different job title that the wage rate's different for that individual person too.
Yeah. But you end up getting to the thing where people just start flying away. And because every year it's compounded, that percent gets more and more on top of that bigger increase from the year before. So.
Been that way forever.
Pardon me?
It's been that way for a long time. It keeps going up that way.
And I don't agree with that.
Well, that's the way it is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree, but.
You can't level everybody out.
No, you can't level everybody out because like Rich said, everybody has their different jobs. But back to, this is a cost of living increase. This is not based on what our individual duties are. It's based on how much things have went up in the last year.
I think we use the word raise and cost of living in the same sentence.
They're not
necessarily the same.
No, they're not the same.
May I ask why you voted no? Just curious. Is it too high, too low? You don't want to make a recommendation?
You can. I think it's too high.
What would be a number that you would want? I mean, give an idea then.
3.3% per person.
I needed more time to figure it out in my head.
Well,
Like you said it was 4.2, like
4.2 is the average of elected officials. So if you put in 3.3, the number, which is,
you got 8 people at 3.3 and 2 people at 6, and I do the math, I come up with 3.6.
you do 3.3, that comes to 91 cents.
No, on your average, so like, you have 2 people at 6, 8 people at 3.3, I come to 3.64 average.
Okay.
Instead of 4 point, I don't know how you did your math, but
I could have been wrong on that. Maybe the formula was
there's
wrong.
8 people at 3.3, right? Or treasurer.
But 3.3, it comes to 91 cents. So that's just a different number if you want to use that.
So we're gonna move on, or?
I don't know, whatever everybody wants to do.
So you'd be okay with a penny less an hour from last year?
No, I was gonna go 3.3% for whatever their salary is now. So Lindsay would have to do some figuring.
Or if the departments do their own, they have a total budget, and
It's 4.2, average is 4.2.
you come up with a,
I did the math.
well, so did I.
Yeah.
I got $1.44, so.
Perfect. Well, by hearing no motion, we'll move on to discussion possible action on CIJDC 2080 agreement. Central Juvenile Detention.
Yeah, I can speak on that a little bit. I guess they want to do an updated 2080 agreement. Well, come to find out, the last 2080 agreement somehow fell through the cracks. It wasn't sent out to the counties like it should have been. And they got a hold of the state to see if they were in trouble. And they says, no, you just need to send it out to all your board members, your county members, and get it approved and send it to the state. And they're fine with that. Because there were some counties added this past year. So there needs to be a new 2080 agreement. But this is the one from 3/24/23 when they changed it because of some counties were added. And it didn't get sent out to all of us, all the member counties. And they're all listed there, member counties and the date joined. So I think we were, where did we join? We joined in 21, okay. But there was Webster joined in 93 and Marshall in 94. So there's been changes. That was 93, not 2003. But anyway, there's been changes so basically we just need to approve this 2080 agreement because we're members of there. And then we'll get, in a month or two, we'll get an updated one with the additional counties on to approve. I mean, nothing changes, it's just.
Don't we have to sign something?
Yeah, the 2080 agreement needs approved by our board and then sent back to them.
He told me that I need to just send him the minutes if it's approved.
If it's approved,
That suffices for whatever they are.
Did we sign an original 2080 agreement?
The only thing that I could find that we've signed is when we originally joined in like 2021.
Okay, and that's what we did sign one then.
Yeah, but this is the
And that's when
2020,
he had come up here that day.
Okay.
this is the 2023 one that didn't get signed. It was just, and the one thing that was gonna change is, like it says, you have to assign somebody to the board. I was on the board, and then you have to appoint alternate. They're gonna change it to may appoint an alternate. I don't know, because there's a lot going on here, and if you have an alternate go, they don't know what's going on, because they're into so many things, you know, with their transportation, their everything. So that's what this is for. So, and I would make a recommendation to approve this 2080 agreement with Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center.
Recommendation, or are you gonna move to approve that?
I move to approve that, yes.
A motion is our second.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Is there a fee that goes with that?
No, it doesn't cost to join. Our kids go there, we get a cheaper rate if we're a member. It doesn't cost to be a member. But they don't let just any county in because some counties are problem counties, you know? Or they have all their bad people go there. And, like if you're not a member county and you have somebody that's a troublemaker, you know, they can send them back. But if we're a member county, we send somebody there, they cannot refuse our people. So that's the benefit of being a member. Plus you get a cheaper rate. I think it's $30 a day cheaper to be a member versus non-member, but it does not cost to be a member.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Jim,
Aye.
Cindy, Mike,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Tyler.
Aye.
Motion passes. Meeting is attended.
We need to solve agenda item 11 for the departments. I'm sorry, guys. We need to give them some direction because budgets need to be built. Are they gonna use a dollar amount, or if we decide that they're gonna use a percent, what are we gonna do? Us just sitting here not giving them a direction is unacceptable.
I thought we gave them the direction to use a percentage amount for the budget.
I heard that from you. I didn't hear that from everybody, so I wanna know, what's the board wanna do? I mean, I gave you a couple dollar amounts, so that's something you can do. Mark thinks 3.3, that's something we can do. What's the board want to do? Because the board, the departments need to know.
I can make a motion to recommend the 3.3% for the departments to determine if they need guidance.
And number 11 just says consider a wage, there's no action.
Yeah, because we're not considering it.
Well, that was the conversation board one also. There's no action on that in the agenda. If we just have a consensus of the board, they just need to have an idea of how to build their budgets.
If we give them their bag of money, because the Department of Health, they gave their people extra money. Conservation gave their people extra wage increase.
But we're not giving them a bag of money right now because they haven't built their budget. And we don't know what their budget is until we look at it. And they need to know what they're going to pay their employees. That's part of it.
That would be up to the department heads to figure that out.
Is there like a max minimum on it?
We don't even have the union agreement negotiations yet for secondary roads to even know what we're gonna have there, right?
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Mr. Horgan?
I can throw numbers in.
Aren't there some time constraints on how you build your budget and when it's due in? I mean, the more you stall on it, the longer you're gonna.
Starting one at 10 o'clock today. We're starting the first one at 10 o'clock.
Well, there's a motion on the table. If I made a motion.
Can I make a motion to
3.3.
recommend the 3.3?
I'll second that. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Mike,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Todd,
No,
Mark,
Aye.
Sydney.
Motion passes, 3.3. Meetings attended.
I had an Osage City Council meeting last night. Osage has, I guess, extremely hard water, and there's a lot of people that have water softeners in the town. So it's put their chloride levels in an unacceptable range. They have 59 months in order to get it figured out. So pre-treatment plant, a water treatment plant is being planned. So what they have to do before that is what's called a pilot plant, and the pilot plant, from what I understand, determines the existing water quality so that you can know how to build your future water quality. They're going to be using state money for some of this because the state has a 3-year interest-free plan that can be used for stuff like this, so they plan on utilizing that.
I have a question pertaining to their water. I have a question. They had their one well that had forever chemicals in it. Did they ever test the rest of the wells, and what are they doing?
There's 2 wells that will be shut down, 10th Street well, and I believe it's called the Park Street well. I believe it's those 2 will be shut down, and they'll be just using the other wells in the town.
Because they have the forever chemicals in them? Or-
I don't know that.
Well, okay. Yeah.
I don't have your answer.
Oh, okay, if they're talking water, I thought maybe they got into that.
Yeah. I don't have your
I
answer.
think that, talking with Brock there, there's the one, for the old fire station.
Yeah, that well.
That one is for sure the only well that I've been told that has that.
Because they haven't tested the other ones.
And they are,
Unless they did that.
they do flush that every so often, just because of rust reasons and stuff like that, so. But I didn't know there was 2 of, I thought there was just that one.
They did mention last night the 10th Street well, and I think it was Park Street well, are not going to be utilized. I thought it was those 2. And then they didn't bring that one up. I don't know if that one's just so old, it's not even.
I don't think they used that.
I don't have a lot of details on all of that. So. And they approved some ARPA dollars and paid some ARPA dollars out. That's kind of good for them.
None.
Well, I had a public health meeting and a conservation meeting. They went over those, so.
I had none this week.
I had none.
I did. Public comments. Any public comment? Okay, we'll adjourn the meeting at 9:49.